Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you love tech and useful tips, hit subscribe. Let's jump in.
Changing the fuel filter in your Honda Odyssey is a task often misunderstood, primarily because for many modern Odysseys, especially those from the second generation onwards, roughly 2000 and newer, the fuel filter isn't a standalone, easily accessible inline component. Instead, it's typically integrated directly into the fuel pump assembly, which resides inside the fuel tank. This means if you're experiencing symptoms like a struggling engine, reduced fuel efficiency, difficulty starting, or even stalling, and suspect a clogged fuel filter, you're likely looking at a more involved process than a simple filter swap. Before attempting this, prioritize safety above all else. Work in a well-ventilated area, have a fire extinguisher nearby, and absolutely disconnect the negative terminal of your vehicle's battery to prevent any electrical mishaps. It's also critical to relieve the fuel system pressure. Consult your Odyssey service manual for the exact procedure, which often involves pulling the fuel pump fuse and cranking the engine until it stalls. You'll need specific tools for this job, including a floor jack and jack stands for safely raising and supporting the vehicle, a socket set, open-end wrenches, a fuel line disconnect tool if required, a new fuel pump assembly, which includes the filter, or a separate filter element if your specific model allows for just that part to be replaced within the module, a new O-ring for the fuel pump seal, rags, safety glasses, and potentially a specialized fuel tank strap wrench. The process begins by safely elevating your Odyssey on jack stands, ensuring it's stable. Locate the fuel tank, usually situated beneath the rear passenger area. You'll need to gain access to the top of the fuel tank where the fuel pump assembly is installed. This often involves removing various covers, heat shields, and potentially lowering the exhaust system slightly for clearance, depending on your specific year and model. Once you have clear access to the fuel tank, carefully disconnect the electrical connector leading to the fuel pump and the fuel lines. Be prepared for some fuel spillage even after relieving pressure, so have rags ready. Now, you'll need to support the fuel tank and unbolt the straps holding it in place. Slowly and carefully lower the fuel tank enough to access the top of the fuel pump module. There will be a large lock ring or several small bolts securing the fuel pump assembly to the tank. Use the appropriate tool to loosen and remove this lock ring or bolts. With the retaining mechanism removed, gently extract the old fuel pump assembly from the tank, being careful not to bend the fuel sending unit float arm. This is where your integrated fuel filter is located. Inspect the old assembly and compare it to your new part. If your model allows for just the filter element to be changed within the assembly, proceed with that swap, ensuring all seals are correctly installed. Otherwise, you'll be installing a complete new fuel pump module. Always use a new O-ring or gasket when reinstalling the fuel pump assembly to ensure a proper, leak-free seal. Carefully insert the new assembly into the tank, aligning it correctly, and then secure it with the lock ring or bolts. Reconnect all fuel lines and the electrical connector. Slowly raise the fuel tank back into position, ensuring all lines and wires are routed correctly and not pinched. Then resecure the fuel tank straps. Reinstall any removed covers or exhaust components. Before starting the engine, reconnect the battery, reinstall the fuel pump fuse, and cycle the ignition key a few times to the on position without starting, to allow the fuel pump to prime the system and build pressure. Check thoroughly for any fuel leaks around the new assembly. Once you're confident there are no leaks, start the engine and let it idle, checking again for leaks. Finally, take your Odyssey for a test drive to ensure everything is functioning correctly. This is a significant DIY task. If you're uncomfortable at any point, it's always best to consult a certified mechanic. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe for more automotive tips and tutorials.